Today is Monday, Parashat Noach. In the Parasha of Noach, the Torah tells us about the great flood, the Mabul, that basically destroyed the whole world except for Noach and his family and representative of every species of animals that was with him in the Teva. The Teva was a floating structure that housed Noach and his family and the animals. And what was so horrible about the behavior of the people of that generation? Where, first of all, there was a lot of immorality, behavior in terms of not the standard family life. That was one problem with that generation. But there was another problem. The other problem was Gezel. Gezel, people were stealing from each other, people were inconsiderate of each other, people were very selfish in that generation. There was an attitude of the expression that goes in French, après moi le déluge, after me the great flood. In other words, as long as it serves my purpose, as it benefits me, then I don't care what impact it has on others. So people were taking advantage of other people, people were abusing other people would do anything to serve their own interest at the detriment of others. That was something that was very bad with that generation, and that immorality and that behavior, that people taking advantage and abusing and defrauding others is what brought about such a situation of social fabric being totally corrupted, that the sort of like had to have a fresh new start, like a restart type of thing. And that's why the great flood got rid of that generation in a way. And then now, starting from Noah, who was in the Teva, was saved, and from him started again humanity. But what is this word Teva? Teva in Hebrew means, in this case of the parasha, floating structure. But Teva in Hebrew means also a word. Word meaning, like you have a phrase that has 4 words in it. So in Hebrew you say you have 4 tevot. Each teva is one word as part of that phrase. In Hebrew, there is no such thing as a word that has only one letter. In English, we have that. There's the word a, meaning a certain item. Or I has one letter, represents the person. In Hebrew, there is no word that exists by the presence of just one letter. Any word is composed of a minimum of 2 letters, and of course sometimes many more letters than 2 letters. But each letter on its own has no significance. When does the letter gain meaning? When it's together with at least one other letter or other letters. So each letter serves the other letters to create meaning, and each letter is dependent on the other letter to create meaning. It was a hint to Noach, you go into the Teva, just like a word is composed of more than one letter serving each other to create meaning, so also as people, we really gain meaning and importance and significance when we serve each other to bring meaning to us as a society or as a group or as a people. Because a person on his own, serving only his interest, has no meaning. And that was a message of the Teva to a generation of selfish people that was all about just me and I and myself. Something to think about in the generation that we live in. Not just the idea of immorality that is something that is sometimes compromised more often than it should in this generation, but also about the idea of I, the selfie, people taking picture of themselves, the technologies around the iPhone or the iPad, and it's all about I. And in society, unfortunately, we see sometimes where people are more interested in only their self-interest rather than what's good for society. And morality and society is an important concept to always keep in mind. What is good for, not just for me, but for others as well. And when we think in those terms, we can bring more harmony and peace, and there could be also more blessings. So the idea of the Teva, which is that floating structure, which in Hebrew means also a word, delivers an important message that each of us gains more meaning when we serve each other, just like the letters serve each other to create the word. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.